Hello students, so welcome back to the channel and today we'll be talking about Animal Kingdom part 4. So basically today we'll be studying a comparative study of the first 5 phylums of Kingdom Animalia. As we know that Kingdom, it is the largest category. Kingdom is the largest category. We can learn that this is king, no, this is king, and king is only one. So this is the most royal category, kingdom, and from kingdom originates the phylum. From kingdom originates the phylum. So today we'll be studying about animal kingdom. No, this kingdom is which kingdom? It is animal kingdom. Like we are talking about Animalia. As we all know that when the classification started, it was first Aristotle who classified all the organisms, millions of organisms on the earth, in 2 categories. First was Plantae and the other was Animalia. Like one with which had the blood group, it was Anima, and which did not have the blood, they were known as Enema. Okay, so then Linnaeus came, he gave 2 system classification, and then Haeckel, Copeland. Then now we study 5 kingdom classification. 5 kingdom classification, it was given by Whitaker. 5 kingdom, it was given by Whitaker, and from that we'll be studying here 1 kingdom, which is animal kingdom. So before studying comparatively about Porifera, Coelenterata, Ctenophora, let me remind you one more very important thing, that this Animalia kingdom, it is entirely multicellular in nature. Means no organism belonging to this kingdom, it is unicellular. Okay, like amoeba, it is a protozoa, it belongs to Plantae. But in Animalia, kingdom Animalia, all the organisms are multicellular in nature. Okay, so multicellular organisms are all present here. Means from Porifera, where we will see cellular level of body organization, these organisms are also what? Multicellular in nature. Means there are more than one number of cell that form together an entire body. Okay, so if we divide this kingdom Animalia into 2 parts, what we will be getting? Like this is animals or kingdom Animalia. It will be divided into 2 parts. We will say them as chordate and non-chordate. We will say them as chordate or non-chordate. We'll classify them into 2 parts. Kingdom Animalia into 2 parts. One is chordate and the other one is non-chordate. These are basically 2 classifications, and they are on the basis of presence of notochord. If notochord is present, we will classify them into chordata. If notochord is absent, we will place them in non-chordata. So chordata is further divided into different parts, but today we'll be studying about non-chordate, and there are many number of phylum that are present in non-chordata. If we'll start, so the first phylum, here I am writing phylum as P. First phylum that here we'll study about is Porifera. Then after Porifera, we will be studying about Coelenterata. After Coelenterata, we study about Ctenophora. Coelenterata is also known as Cnidaria. We can learn it as his father is a boss. He doesn't fear from anyone. He doesn't like anyone. If he doesn't like, he gets him killed. That is why his name is Cnidaria. I don't fear anyone. Okay, so phylum Cnidaria, Coelenterata, phylum Ctenophora. Then we have phylum Platyhelminthes. Phylum Platyhelminthes means it's like a plate. If you study it carefully, it is like plate. Platyhelminthes means these organisms are like plate in which we eat food. plate is compressed dorsoventrally, so these are also known as flatworms, because they are plate, they are like plate, means they are flat, so they are known as flatworms. Then we have phylum Aschelminthes. Aschelminthes, they are also round in nature, so if they are round, they will be known as roundworms. That is why we say biology is so easy. If it is plate like flat, if it's round, it is roundworm. Means while learning the name only we can learn so many things. So basically in today's class, in today's lecture, we will be discussing about these 5 phylums. But there are other phylums are also present. These 5 phylums today we'll be talking about, but in next lecture we'll be surely talking about 6th phylum, that is phylum Annelida. After Annelida, 7th phylum, it is Arthropoda. Can anyone tell me or not? It is Arthropoda. Everyone is sitting with the mouth shut. Arthropoda, Annelida, Arthropoda, then it is Echinodermata. Before Echinodermata, we have phylum Mollusca. This phylum is also known as the second largest phylum. Then we have 9th number as Echinodermata. Then on 10th number we have the phylum Hemichordata. So together overall, today we'll divide these 5 kingdoms together. We'll study the comparative anatomy of these 5 kingdoms, these 5 phylums, sorry, and the next session we'll be talking about these 5 phylum. So total there are 10 phylum that are present in non-chordata, and we divided them into 5 and 5 so that it becomes easy for us to understand. So let's begin with these 5 phylums that we will cover today. So phylum Porifera, this is the most primitive, this is the earliest phylum that originated, and it is the first phylum which originated in Animalia. So we can label it as, or give it a tag as primitive. If anything is old, that is simple. We say na, old people are very simple, they speak truth, they don't do any bullshit with our life. They are happy in their own life, they are very simple people. So these are also very simple, as they were most primitive. They were simplest people we know today. They are very simple in function, they are very simple in reproduction, and they are also very simple in the places where they live. They are all aquatic, marine, fresh water. Okay, so let's study these things in the table. I hope you will find these things to be very easy. So first we are talking about Porifera habitat. Porifera, most primitive, simplest, I told you, they are the very simple guy. He is the old man of 90s, and he is in the age of hundreds, and he is very simple. He just wants to meditate, wants to go to the mountains and there just do meditation and spend his all life. Okay, so he is very much pure in everything. So where he lives, he is living in those areas which are mostly marine. Means he is living in those areas which are mostly marine, means in the sea water, because marine is what? Salt water. So salt water is present in sea, so he is living in those areas which are mostly marine, and some of them live in fresh water too. Some of them live in fresh water too. Some in fresh water, it means that all of them are living mostly marine sea water, while some of them, they prefer to live in fresh water. These are like non-veg friends, but they also have some veg friends who are living in fresh water. And what are the organisms that live in fresh water? So it is basically Spongilla, because NCERT is talking about one example, that is Spongilla. The Spongilla's common name is also that it is a freshwater sponge. And if we are talking about Coelenterata, or its second name is Nidaria, means he doesn't fear from anyone. In Hindi, if you say Nidaria, मैं नहीं डरता, I don't fear anyone, so he doesn't fear from anyone. So if he doesn't fear, he will have all the things that he wants to have. So first of all, it is copying porifera. If you are marine, I will also be marine. If you want to stay in sea, I will be staying in sea, because along with the, if sea is yours, sea is mine also. He is fighting to porifera, so he is mostly marine. And it is also some fresh water. It is also fighting to porifera in the river. If river is your territory, river is my territory also. I will also be living in the river. River is my area. How can you just come to my area? So it is copying porifera in the habitat. Fresh water, here we have learned about spongilla. That spongilla is known as freshwater sponge. But in coelenterata or Cnidaria, we have learned that hydra. Hydra is freshwater coelenteron. Okay, it is sessile or free living. They can be sessile, means they can be fixed to one place. We can call it as like sessile means fixed to one place. Fixed to place. And free living means it doesn't fear anyone, so it will roam. Whatever you want to do, you can do. I will roam because I don't fear anyone. So it is mostly marine. Some are freshwater like hydra, and the nature is it is either sessile or it is free living. Then we'll come to Ctenophora. These are exclusively marine. The point here that we need to learn is that it is exclusively marine. It is not found in freshwater. It is not fighting like coelenterata. It doesn't want to fight. It say, okay, you want to live in the river? Okay, fine. I will live in the sea because who I am very special. I am VIP person. So it is exclusively marine. It doesn't live in freshwater. If we go to Platyhelminthes, so we have already talked that Platyhelminthes are plate, flat like plate, they are very flat. So they are either free living, means they can live freely on the area, any area, like you can see them in the soil, you can see them in the food, but also you can see them in the intestine. Also you can see them inside the body of any organism. They cause infections. If they cause infection, they are parasite, and they are also free living, means once you eat golgappa, once you eat pani puri, you will be eating what? Platyhelminthes. They are free living. Once you eat them, they will live inside your stomach, they will live inside your abdomen. That means now they are parasitic, so they are free living or parasitic. Same to same copy to Aschelminthes, because both of them are parasite. They are free living or parasitic. They are also free living. They will also be there on the street food. You like a lot of noodles, they are living on the noodles. You eat those noodles, they go inside your gut, they are living in the gut. Okay, but they are also in plants and animals. Plus they have positive point that they are living in the aquatic and terrestrial habitat, means they can also be found in the soil, but they can also be found in the water. And if it is aquatic water, it means it can be what? It can be marine water or it can be fresh water. It can be either, and they can be terrestrial also. We have another classification. We are sure about habitat. We have learned. First, what we have learned? Porifera is very simple. It lives everywhere in aquatic, like some in fresh water, some in marine water. Same to same copy to Cnidaria. Some in fresh water, some in marine water, means same. Then Ctenophora we have to learn because it is exclusively marine. Then it is free living or parasitic, and same free living or parasitic. Now the next category that we have to discuss is exoskeleton. Exoskeleton means outer skeleton. There are two types of skeleton in the body. One is endoskeleton, like our bones. Our bones are located inside our body, so it is what? It is endoskeleton. But if we will talk about like our nails, our hair, so what they are? They are exoskeleton. They are located outside the body, so they are absent, because Cnidaria has no one sphere. Why doesn't fear? Because it has a skeleton. if I am saying that you don't fear anyone, why you don't fear anyone? Because you have lot of power, you can defeat anyone. But that is why Nidaria doesn't fear anyone, because it has the skeleton of CaCO3, calcium carbonate skeleton. Okay, so why will it fear anyone if it is so strong? Others don't have endoskeleton, that is why they are not like Nidaria. Fine. Now we'll talk about endoskeleton. So endoskeleton is only present in the porifera. It is made up of spicules or spongin fiber that form the endoskeleton of porifera. So we have to learn this much only from here, and with this we have completed our 5 kingdoms: habitat, exoskeleton and endoskeleton. Now moving further, let us see. So if we study about the digestive system, or where the digestion takes place in porifera, coelenterata, Nidaria, coelenterata, then we have this. Look, this is wrongly copied. This will be Ctenophora. And this is Nidaria. It doesn't fear anyone. So this is Nidaria. So what we'll study? Digestive system. Digestive system and the digestion. So in porifera, the digestive system is absent. I told you, these are saint like people. They don't keep anything complicated. They are too simple. They will keep their digestive system absent. They don't have digestive system. They have few cells, because I told you in the previous class that porifera has a cellular level of body organization. So here the digestion will be intracellular. Here the digestion will be intracellular. Then if we move to coelenterata or Nidaria, then here the digestive system is incomplete. He doesn't fear anyone. He was like, please give me some water. Okay, so he doesn't fear anyone. Nidaria or coelenterata doesn't have fear of anyone. So what he will do? He will just say, why I don't have digestive system? Then he will have digestive system. But having digestive system isn't enough. His digestive system is incomplete. He doesn't fear anyone, so he'll say, why you are not giving digestive system? If you don't give me digestive system, my father is a boss. I will destroy you. So he was given the digestive system, but the digestive system was incomplete. So that means that if it is incomplete, it will have only one opening, and that opening is known as hypostome. That hypostome leads to the body cavity, and here the digestion is both intra and extracellular. He doesn't fear anyone, so he says that I will do the digestion both as intracellular and extracellular. You cannot do anything bad to me, so I will do what? I will do both intracellular digestion and extracellular digestion. He's so rude, na? Very rude. If we go to Ctenophora, he copies. He's a very simple man, but he is not saint. Okay, he's a very simple man. Okay, fine, if you are doing intra and extra, I will just copy it from you. Okay, then we'll do Platyhelminthes. These are parasite, and they get their food by sucking your blood. They suck your blood. Okay, people say that females suck the blood of males. These are females according to your language, but I say it is not true. It is always female mosquito who sucks the blood of male. Okay, so here Platyhelminthes do what? They suck your blood. They suck my blood, they suck your blood. So they are getting their food by what? By sucking the blood. Means they don't need to do any digestion. So why will digestive system be present here? So digestive system is incomplete with a single opening. They have single opening, just like here. Here the mouth was known as hypostome. Here extracellular digestion. Here the digestion is extracellular. Here digestion was both extra and intra. Extra and intra. Here intra. यहाँ पे we will see extracellular digestion. Some food is absorbed through skin. Okay, they have body. So from body surface or through the skin only the food is absorbed. But does not have complete alimentary canal, whereas Aschelminthis has complete alimentary canal. It is the place from where complete alimentary canal started. If anybody asks you in the exam that from which phylum did the complete alimentary canal started, so it was Aschelminthis. It has muscular pharynx. Okay, muscular pharynx means through which it sucks the blood. It is parasite, no? Where it lives? Inside the body. Inside the body also, in the terrestrial area also, it is free living also. So it sucks the blood through muscular pharynx. So alimentary canal is complete. Extracellular digestion. They both have extracellular digestion, no? Parasitic but extracellular digestion. We also see that here extracellular digestion, and here also we have extracellular digestion. Both places we have extracellular digestion. Rest complete alimentary canal. Here we can see incomplete alimentary canal. So this is the difference. Hanji, this is the difference. Now if we move on to the next category, we have what are the respiratory structures that are present. So respiratory structure, porifera, it's very simple. It has cellular level of body organization. It will say, okay, fine, I'll respire through my cells only. Yeah, this is very advanced. No, I'm so VIP. I don't need any tension. I will do my respiratory structure through my cell surface only. But Cnidaria, he doesn't fear anyone. What he'll do? Hey, I will be using my body wall. So what he does? He does his respiration through the body wall. He also copies. He doesn't care, no? So he's like, whatever Coelenterata is doing, I will do that. So he does what? He does respiration through body wall only. And these are parasitic. If they are parasitic, they will respire through body surface. And if they are living in the food, they will respire. They are free living, no worries. And they also respire through the body surface. So here what you have to learn: cell surface, body wall, body surface, body surface. Fine. Means one is cell surface, other all are body surface. Then if we see circulation, now all of them, since they all are living in water, circulatory system is circulation with water. We don't have to learn anything from here because all the 5 phylum, they are respiring through water only. It's easy. Now moving on further, if the parameter is talking about excretory system, so excretion is by cell surface, others all hair, body surface, but Platyhelminthes, remember I told you about the alimentary canal. Platyhelminthes had incomplete alimentary canal, but Aschelminthis had complete alimentary canal. So Platyhelminthes, upon seeing that why Aschelminthis was given complete alimentary canal, it is parasitic like me, you are jealous why my friend is getting full marks, he studies with me for only 3 hours, we play together, we are living together, we share all secrets together, then why my friend is getting more marks than me? Okay, so what is the problem? So he gets jealous. Platyhelminthes is getting jealous because it has only one pore through which it can eat and throw out its potty. So what he does is, he has heat inside him, he is jealous, flame is just igniting inside him, flame is igniting inside Platyhelminthes. So flame cells are present because he is jealous of Aschelminthis. He has 2 openings, one for eating, one for potty. Why I have only 1 opening? I just want 2 openings. He is so jealous that inside him flame cells are present. And what is the name of flame cell? Another name, it is protonephridia, which they use for excretion and osmoregulation. Same function what our kidney does, excretion and osmoregulation. Here excretory tube is present which opens out of the body through excretory pore. So it is important to learn this line. Now moving on, nervous system. Porifera has no nervous system. It is very simple, it's saint, but Coelenterata. Okay. Once again we have marked it wrong. This is not Cnidaria. This is Ctenophora. And what is Coelenterata? This is known as Cnidaria. And I told you earlier only that Cnidaria doesn't fear anyone. Okay. It doesn't fear anyone. So here, why I won't have nervous system? If it doesn't have, but I want to have, because I am the boss. My father is minister. Okay, I will just shoot any one of you if you do anything bad to me or talk ill about me. Give me nervous system. So it was given some nervous system, but it has no brain. Means if you are getting nervous system, it's fine, but we won't give you any brain. So brain is absent, means it is what? It is brainless. It doesn't have brain, but it has some nervous system, but everywhere else nervous system is absent. Now we'll talk about asexual reproduction. Why? How does these all phylum perform asexual reproduction? So here it is by fragmentation. You understand what is fragmentation? If I cut one part of my body, suppose I cut my finger, I plant my finger into pot, an entire Pragya ma'am, she stands in front of you, like two Pragya ma'am at one time. From where I appeared? It is from my finger. So this is fragmentation. By fragmentation, another porifera can originate. So this is one method of asexual reproduction. And he is a saint. Saints are gem to our society. Gem. Okay, gems are so precious. He is a gem to us. Like he is gem to India. Saints are gems of India. So gemule formation is there. Gemule formation is there. That is why we say that porifera are saints. Now get back to this boss, this bad guy. He does budding. He does asexual reproduction by budding. What budding is? That, like, if this is Hydra, fine. This is Hydra and it grows one small bud. Now this bud, in future it will get separated. This will get separated and it will grow into a new plant. Now what it will do? It will get separated. Now this will grow into a new plant. Fine. So what this is budding. If any part of the body is broken down and that part grows into an entire organism, that is known as budding. Here asexual reproduction is absent. They don't reproduce asexually. They are VIP people. They don't speak less. They are very high people. No, I will not do asexual reproduction. I am VIP. Okay, so if we'll go to Platyhelminthes, they have high regeneration capacity. I told you about a story. Planaria along with its mom, they were going for a vacation in Thailand. Mom was in hurry, child was left behind. Planaria was walking slowly and it got cut into two parts. Now 3 planaria will reach to Thailand. So they have high regeneration capacity, and here the example is Planaria. This Planaria went to Thailand. When he exited from home, there were 2 planaria. When they reached Thailand, 14 planaria, because planaria got divided into small parts. He was so excited that he got cut into many pieces, and all those pieces regenerated, and within 2 days planaria reached Thailand. When they got exited from home, there were mom and son. Now there are mom plus there are many sons. How they came? How these many sons originated? They originated by regeneration. That is why we say that planaria shows high regeneration. But Aschelminthes, they don't reproduce asexually. Now moving further, if we talk about sexual reproduction, all of them are hermaphrodite till Platyhelminthes, but in Aschelminthes, we see they are unisexual or dioecious organism. Means here female is longer. If we say that female is longer, it means like this is female, this is male. Okay, this is male and this is female. Males also have posterior end curved. How can we identify? Longer one is always female, smaller one is always male. But males have posterior end that is curved and females are always straight. Fine. So sexual dimorphism started from where? It started from Aschelminthes. Before that, all the phylum, all 4 phylums, they were hermaphrodite in nature. Means in one body only male and female both are present. Fine. Now we'll go to fertilization. All have internal fertilization except C. These both, what are they? They are C. And I also know and you also know what this C is. C is what? Cute. Only cute people have external fertilization. Rest all have internal fertilization. Now we'll be moving to development. Every one of them have indirect development. There is nothing written as such, and we don't have any questions basically from this topic, like asking about the development. They don't give a direct question on this. They can combine this with any other thing, but not a straight question from this, that how is the development. So all have indirect development, direct, indirect, direct, indirect, then indirect, indirect. Moving further, we'll talk about the unique features. Unique features are water canal system. In Porifera we have the water canal system. What is this water canal system? I have already told you in the previous class. Water canal system, it does food gathering, respiratory exchange is performed by this, then removal of waste, like everything from digestion to respiration to excretion, everything is performed by what? Water canal system. Then special feature about Porifera is presence of coenocyte cell or collar cell. Like this, if this is spongilla, let's see through this. If you forgot it, no issue, we can understand it better this time. And water will enter through the body of a sponge. So there must be some pores. Let's make the pore. So these are the pores that are present. These pores are known as ostia. Now we are talking about coenocyte cell. So these coenocyte cells are present in this cavity. This cavity is known as the spongocoel cavity. They are known as collar cell because here flagella are coming out from the cells. Now what about water? Please tell me about water canal system. So from these holes, water enters here. It brings along with it a lot of nutrients, a lot of gametes, and goes out through the osculum. If you want to understand this topic very clearly, you can go through the last class. Okay, so what it does is respiratory exchange, removal of waste, and these are the collar cells. We can see them again. If you want to see the collar cell, I will remove water canal system from the diagram. Look, now these white cells, you can see these are collar cells or the coenocyte cell, and they are lining the cavity, and this cavity is known as a spongocoel cavity. Okay, so this is the unique feature. What are the unique feature? First is water canal system, second is coenocyte or the collar cell. These three, they are the functions of water canal system. And what about coenocyte cell? They are present in the spongocoel cavity or the cavity that is present in between the sponges. Now Coelenterata, it doesn't fear anyone. Why it doesn't fear anyone? Because it has tentacles. If you have gun, why will you fear anyone? Tentacles, they have guns. They can kill anyone by nematocyst. Tentacles have nematocyst, and these nematocysts, they are used for predation, for killing people, for their defense. That is why they don't fear. They have calcium carbonate exoskeleton, CaCO3, plus they have tentacle, and on those tentacle nematocyst is present, so they don't fear anyone. Now we'll talk about Cnidaria. It's not about Cnidaria. Again, we have to correct this mistake. This mistake has been done and it's causing so much trouble. This is Ctenophora. Again and again I have to just correct it. This is Cnidaria. Okay, so 8 rows of comb plates are present for locomotion. Hence they are known as comb gillies. Why I told you in the starting, these are very VIP people, because they are showing bioluminescence. What is the meaning of bioluminescence? They emit light like sun. They are behaving like sun. They have their own light. They give out their light. That is why they are very special people. Now Platyhelminthes, as I already told you, they are like plate, dorsoventrally flattened, plus they are parasites, so they have hooks for attachment and suckers for sucking the blood. Okay, now Aschelminthes, they are roundworms, I told you, so they are circular in cross section. They are like this. Alimentary canal, they have complete, we have already discussed, female longer than male, and posterior ends are curved. We have already discussed these topics. We don't have anything to be discussed here. Now we will study about the example. The porifera examples are Sycon, Spongilla, Euspongia. Sycon is known as Sypha, and we have Spongilla or the freshwater sponge. Then we have Spongia. Euspongia, that is known as bath sponge, that is used for bathing in the our kings and queens. They used to bath with Euspongia. That is why Euspongia is known as bath sponge. Then we'll go to Coelenterata. It has some examples. First example is Physalia, Portuguese man of war. We have second example as Adamsia. Adamsia, it's a man. C-N-E-mon, it's man. If we study like Adamsia, Adam and Eve, it's like man. Okay, anemon. Then pen, netula, pen. So it's C-pen, like Gorgonia. When fan is not working properly, it's like gor. So what is this? Gorgonia. Gorgonia is what? C-fan. Then we have Mandrina. Don't eat my man. Man, don't eat my brain. Okay. Mandrina. Brain coral. Sounding same, no? Then Cnidaria. Again, it's not Cnidaria. What is this? This is Ctenophora. And where is Cnidaria? This is Cnidaria. So, Ctenophora, we have Pleurobrachia and Ctenoplana. Fine. Now, in Platyhelminthes, we have two. First is Taenia. Taenia is known as tapeworm, and other one is Fasciola. Fasciola is liver fluke, and this is Planaria, which has what? Which has high regeneration capacity. We have already learned about this. है ना? High regeneration capacity. Then we will move to where? To Aschelminthes. Aschelminthes has Ascaris, that is roundworm, Wuchereria. We'll study about this in human health and disease also. Then we'll have Ankylostoma or the hookworm. So these are all about the comparative study of this phylum. In the next class, we'll be starting with the phylum Annelida. Thank you and have a good day.